Name is Jason, originally from New York, moved out here 15 years ago. I'm in Kissimmee now. This is my 08 Honda Fit. It's got a K24 swap that's been custom turbocharged. And this used to be my daily driver, but is now my weekend warrior. This is my sports car. How it started was, this was my daily driver going back and forth to work. Wanted something that was cheap on gas. At the time I had two little boys, so this was more than enough for what I needed. And my boys grew up, so I bought another vehicle and this stood on the side. I thought about selling it and getting me a Civic Si or something like that, but then at the time the prices were kind of ridiculous for used cars, so started having me thinking about playing with this one a bit more. Naturally, like every other Fit owner, they will kind of want a bit more power. These are fun to drive the way they are, but you know, everybody wants a bit more power. So I looked into the K-swap. The information is kind of tight-lipped amongst forums and other people who actually did it. But I did my months of research. I had time, and I went ahead. And once I pulled the trigger on the motor and the transmission, I was set. I was convinced. Like I said, this is a JDM K24A, and I had it naturally aspirated for a while, and it was great fun. What made me turbocharge it was the fact that I never saw a K24 turbo fit. So I figured, hey, you know, I was the first for this one. Let me try it myself. Just Take Fabrications. You can find him on Instagram. I contacted him. He's in Arizona, but he made these log manifolds. When it comes to a K-series, log manifolds aren't the best for turbochargers, but in this situation, I wasn't trying to modify too heavy than I already did. Battery location, brake booster, the whole nine. So he made me a custom log manifold that's a lot more larger and has more volume than what eBay or any other, I guess any other no-name supplier would have for the K engine. So he made me that, and I also have my own welder. So once I got the manifold, I was able to select what turbo, see how it fits. And then over the course of 5 months, I went back and forth from piecing a downpipe, and the rest of the other exhaust pieces, if you will, to try to get the rest going. But yeah, so this is, I wanted something that looked somewhat factory, performed factory. This still retains full power steering and AC. It has a PSR 3584 Gen 3, which I guess in precision terms, it would be 67, 66. It is quite large, but because of the fact it's running a log manifold, it kind of helps with the efficiency of it. It spools rather quickly for such a big turbo because of the log. It's running 10 pounds right now. Back before I turbocharged it, it made 211 to the front wheels. The way it sat, now it makes 325 at 10 pounds. And still running stage 2 action clutch. It's only rated for 260 pound-feet of torque, but it's holding it so far. It has a 9th Gen SI 6-speed transmission with LSD, and still has full heat and all that. And like I said, I just tried to make it look factory. The blow-off valve, you may not see it on there, but it's behind the driver's side fog light, so it kind of adds to the whole mystique of it. The turbo itself, it's quite huge, so it hovers above the axle, and it takes up this big void that's behind there. So it's not that bad. If you go on my Instagram, you can see more pictures of it. But other than that, though, this thing is a rocket. It may not make a lot of power compared to other K guys, with their Civics making 600 plus, but there's kind of a fine line you don't want to cross. Then it becomes a chore to drive with your, twin plate clutches and all that. And yes, I would like a bit more power out of it just to say I have a 400 horse Fit. But for now, I just drive it, I play with it, I kind of beat on it quite a bit. And I put it back in the garage, and it's ready to do it again next weekend. Ooh, the challenge of the swap. There was plenty of challenges here. Since this is not it's not one of the main K-swap cars, it's not Integra, Civic, or whatever, anything like that. Conversion harness to get whatever particular ECU you want to use to talk to the rest of the system. You can use a standalone, but then you lose so much of the functionality of the instrument cluster, of the Honda immobilizer and things like that. So with that being said, I'm using everything out of a 2007 Acura TSX because it still runs CAN bus. This car is CAN bus driven, 07 and 08. So with that being said, the wiring diagrams between the dash and the ECU for the 07 TSX and the 07 Fit are practically identical, with the exception of the fact that the wiring is in different pins. So if you were to depin it and put it where it needs it, you would retain a lot of features. And then literally cut wire here, cross this wire there, and now you have a 2007 Acura TSX inside of a Fit body. And yes, I could plug in a scan tool and it would recognize it and read codes and all that. So it's a full OEM build. It has a 2007 Acura TSX OEM ECU. It's tuned on FlashPro for a TSX. So if this were to go into any type of smog station, we're in Florida, so we don't need that, but like in New York, if I were to plug it in for an inspection, it would pass. Check engine light is off, it runs it like factory, and it would come up as 2007 TSX. So a lot of the other challenges was once the motor was in there, since it's so big, the frame rails need to be trimmed quite a bit. You gotta cut a hole, make a little bit of space for the transmission case, and the water pump pulley might hit it a bit. So you just take a grinder, shave it. I had to pull the motor 3 or 4 times to get it right. I did majority of the work myself. 90% of the work was done by myself, except for the turbo manifold. I had somebody else do that for me. IShorty Tech in Kissimmee. Shout out to Chris. Yeah, man, he's well known in the game, and I like his work ethic. He tunes with the car off, tests his results. You know, he's genuinely concerned about the motor. He doesn't dog on it, trying to find more. You know, he looks, he takes his time. Perfect work ethic. I go to him anytime. I went to him when it was naturally aspirated, and I went to him again when it was turbocharged. Never let me down. I recommend him 100%. What's next? Well, right now, I'm actually at a bit of a breaking point, because I just love the fact that it's such a turnkey car. You know, it gives me no issues. But besides the fact that, okay, maybe one issue, because of the fact that the transmission in the CSS, the counter shaft speed sensor, was meant for a vehicle that had 18-inch wheels, and so to speak. The VSS is slightly off. It reads faster than what it is, but that's something that your phone can always correct it on and whatnot. But I do intend to correct that and fix that. But I would like to make 400 horse just because I can, and it could do it. I will need to change the clutch. Unfortunately, every time it comes to servicing this, you do need to lower the motor and transmission to get to certain things. But in anticipation of doing that, like let's just say if I want to remove the intake manifold or do a starter, I place these brackets there, so you could just unbolt these two, and I cut the frame. This was all one piece at one point, and you can remove this once the bumper is off. It takes 5 minutes to take the bumper off, and once these brackets are off, this all opens up in the front. So, you know, I try to put some serviceability in it. And this right here is kind of a 4th mount I put, because you only have 3 mounts on these things. Well, there is a 4th on the original motor, but that can't be used. So this right here was originally meant for the 1.5. This is a torque damper setup for the 1.5 that was in here. So this can be retained, but this I made custom, and this is actually off a Porsche 8-cylinder, 1986 Porsche 8-cylinder. Let me be more specific. I think it's called the 968 or the 986, something like that. And this was meant for one of those V8 motors that twist this way. So instead, this is nice. This allows me to have my 4th mount, because when you have this on a dyno, and you can watch the motor twist. So this limits the movement. We're not introducing so much vibration into the cabin. This K24 has a 50-degree wheel in it, plus the Type S oil pump. So this makes a lot more vibration than what it should. Oh, also FYI, I'm running stock mounts on this side and that side, and the rear has the stiffest mount I could get, a 95 durometer. And that's pretty much it. It's still running drive-by-wire TSX. It's not cable driven. And cruise control doesn't work, but at this point I just leave it in 6 and just cruise. But like I said, I was trying to do everything. So you know, if this was how Honda would have built a turbo fit, I would like to imagine it's close to this, minus the catch can and all that. This I got off of Acura RDX to try to give it the OEM feel, because it was the only one that was K23 turbo from the factory. And once I saw this, I was like, this is a nice touch.